Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Coach Kevin here. And the first thing I'd like to do is go ahead and share my screen with you guys, especially to share with those of you who are brand new or watching this as a recording, some information that'll be important to you going forward. First thing I'd like to share with you is we have a Facebook group that coincides with this meetup group, and it has the same name. I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. We would invite you to come join us. The way you can do that is you can go ahead and go into your Facebook account, look for your search function, and start typing in, I want to be really rich, and I do not apologize for it. You'll find us that way as a group. You could also go directly to facebook.com/groups/, I want to be really rich, as if that was one word. Okay. Now, why would you want to join us? A couple different reasons. Reason number one, if we have anything special to announce, we'll usually pin that at the top if it's related to the group. The next thing I want to share with you is you can see right here, oh, there's yesterday. And over here, oh, there's Friday. So we're on together Monday through Friday. So as long as I remember to hit the record button, which I typically do, we go ahead and put the videos here in the Facebook group so that you can review them. So if you happen to attend a meeting, you really liked it, and you want to review some of the things that were in it, you can come here and find it. The other thing is if you miss something, let's say you're able to be with us 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 days out of the week, but maybe not all 5. Well, you can come back here and find whatever it is that you missed. The other thing I want to share with you is a particular book that we're studying. So here's essentially what we do on a day-to-day basis. Um, we will pick something. When we say we'll pick something, I'm typically the picker. But I'll pick something in my repertoire of information and things that I've used in my lifetime to help me become better at manifesting money and wealth in my life, and things that my mentors have shared with me that helped me reprogram my subconscious mind to receive what I want. I've been coached by Bob Proctor personally, and I've been one of Bob Proctor's coaches for his programs. Now I'm independent, but so some of the material will become from him, possibly. Could be other people that have helped train and mentor me at some point in time. But sometimes what we're going through, it might just take that day. So if it's something that just takes a day and it's not a book or something like that, I will just post that file into the Facebook group. I'll share it with you the day that we're doing it and post it in the Facebook group so you can grab a copy of your own. However, let's say, for instance, like today, it's a book. If it's a book, typically I own the book. Well, not typically. I always own the book. I've had the book and I've read the book. Sometimes I've read it a few times. Sometimes I've read it 40 or 50 times. It just depends on what the book is. But anyhow, when I find a book that I own, if I can find a copy for free, what I like to do is grab a free copy and use that for our study, and then show you where I found it so you can get a copy yourself. Unless it's something that would be difficult to find, then I'll go ahead and post it into the Facebook group. So we've been studying and coming together now since November 5th of last year. And right now we're in the process of learning how to program our subconscious mind to do what we want it to do. How does that relate to money and wealth, you might ask? Well, if you could talk, we could talk all we want about law of attraction, and we could learn all we want to learn about entrepreneurship, running a business, being an investor. Law of attraction is always working, and there are additional laws that are always working. There's actually 7 laws that govern receiving money and wealth in our life. Law of attraction is actually a subsidiary law to the law of vibration, and the previous works that we studied went into that in pretty good detail. So you can go back and find those things in our previous videos. And in each of those videos, of course, I always share with you how to find the materials. So you can do that. But what we've moved on to is the subconscious mind, because if your mind is programmed in opposition to receiving whatever it is that you want to truly receive in your life, you won't receive it. It's that plain and simple. It doesn't matter what you learn about business. It doesn't matter what you learn about investing. It doesn't matter what you learn about entrepreneurship. If you are stuck you could be stuck at just about any level, okay? If you are stuck in relationship to manifesting more money, like more significant amount of money, or more wealth in your life, like you're trying to get, your income to go up and you've been stuck at the same place for a while, or you've tried over and over and over again to actually just come up with enough money to live your life the way, that would be comfortable. If you have had struggles doing that, that means you have a program in your subconscious mind currently today that is in opposition to you receiving what it is that you want. So we're going into learning how the subconscious mind works, so we know why that's happened to us so that we can avoid it in the future. And so we know how to reprogram our subconscious mind so that it will help us in the present and in the future. Okay. So we are going through The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. It was written by Joseph Murphy. I just typed in The Power of Your Subconscious Mind PDF. And one of the results that popped up, the one that I like, I went through several of them, but the one that I like and I chose to go ahead and download to use together is this one right here. So organically, I don't know if it'll come up first, second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever in your search. It'll definitely show up on your first page, but it says The Power of Your Subconscious Mind - the Logos Center. And you'll see here, it says www.logoscenter.org. I have no idea what the Logos Center is. I would have found out if I had clicked this and it brought me to the Logos Center. But you know what actually happened is when I clicked on it, it brought me directly to the book, which was great. I didn't have to type in name or email or anything like that. It just brought me to the book. Now it brought me to page 1. I'm not going to go there right now. We're on 145, so that's where we're going to be starting from today. But I just took the download function. Once I had it there, downloaded it, and now I have a copy. And you could go do the same, whether it be on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your home computer, whatever it is you're using to follow along. Feel free to go grab yourself a copy and you'll have the same copy. If you're not up for doing that, or if you just don't want to do it right now, you're going to go ahead and do it later. That's fine, because I'm sharing my screen with you anyway, so you can actually see what I'm sharing. However, I recommend that you go get a copy because we're on page 145. And so obviously we've been in this particular work for a little while. And Joseph Murphy, the author, has taught us a whole lot already about how our subconscious works and how to program it to have it do what we want it to do versus not. So we're going to continue on today right here where we're at. So here's how this works. I'm going to read for a little while, and I will make commentary where I feel it's appropriate. And what we're going to do is we usually save 10, 15 minutes at the end for you guys to go ahead and share whatever comments you want to share and to ask whatever questions you want to ask. Now, if you go into chat and you start typing away, asking questions, I just want you guys to understand I pay no attention to it, okay? Because I need to keep us on track and keep us going, and that would get us off track. So I don't pay attention to it. And even once we start having our interaction and discussion, I'm still not going to pay attention to it. What I do, again, is give you the opportunity to speak. So you'll be able to come off mute and share what it is you want to share and or ask whatever questions you want to ask. So we're going to hop right into this. Let me get a sip of water here and we'll get going. All right, becoming emotionally mature. What someone else says cannot really annoy or irritate you unless you permit it to disturb you. The only path by which another person can upset you is through your own thought. If you get angry, you have to go through 4 stages in your mind. You begin to think about what was said. You decide to get angry and generate an emotion of rage. Then you decide to act. Perhaps you talk back and react in kind. As you see, the thought, emotion, reaction, and action all take place in your own mind. What does it mean to be emotionally mature? It means that you move beyond the natural but childish tendency to respond negatively to the criticism and resentment of others. No one likes to be criticized or belittled. However, we have the ability to choose how to react when it happens. The mature choice is to refrain from responding in a similarly negative way. Responding in kind means to descend to the level of belittling criticism and to become one with the negative atmosphere of the other. Identify yourself with your own aim in life. Do not permit any person, place, or thing to deflect you from your inner sense of peace, tranquility, and radiant health. The meaning of love and harmonious human relations. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis and one of the most important figures in the history of psychology, said that unless the personal personality has love, it sickens and dies. Love includes understanding, goodwill, and respect for the divinity of the other person. The more you love, the more love and goodwill you emanate and exude, the more comes back to you. If you puncture someone else's ego and wound her estimate of herself, you cannot gain her goodwill. Recognize that everyone wants to be loved and appreciated. Everyone needs to feel important in the world. Realize that the other person is conscious of her true worth. Like yourself, she feels the dignity of being an expression of the one life principle animating all people. As you do this consciously and knowingly, you build up the other person and she returns your love and goodwill. She hated her audiences. Mary C. had always dreamed of being an actress. She studied theater in college, then had the good fortune to be hired by an important regional theater company in a part of the country she did not know at all. The first time she performed with the company, the audience booed her. Dismayed and angry, she decided that the people of that region were stupid, ignorant, and backward. She hated them all. After a miserable time, she was dropped from the company. She moved back to the area where she'd grown up and left the stage to work as a waitress. One day, a friend invited her to go to a lecture in a town hall in New York City. The topic was how to get along with ourselves. This lecture changed her life. She began to see that she overreacted to her early experience with the regional company. She admitted to herself that the play she had been in that first time was not good, and that, as a new member of the company, she had probably not been at her best. The fault did not lie with the people in the audience, but with the way she accepted their reaction, then turned it back on them in the form of negative energy. Marie decided to return to the stage and to her lifelong dream of being an actress. She began to pray sincerely for the audience and for herself. She poured out love and goodwill every night before stepping onto the stage. She made it a habit to claim that the peace of God filled the hearts of all present and that all present were lifted up and inspired. During each performance, she sent out love vibrations to the audience. Today, she has an important career in theater. She transmits her goodwill and esteem to others, and they return it in kind. Handling difficult people. It should not come as a surprise that some people in the world are difficult. They are twisted and distorted mentally. They are malconditioned. Many are mental delinquents who have become argumentative, uncooperative, cantankerous, cynical, and sour on life. They are sick psychologically. Their minds have become deformed and distorted, perhaps because of experiences they have had in the past. What do you do when you have to deal with someone like this? You guys listening? I think we're about to get some good advice. The temptation is to turn their negative energy back on them in the form of dislike. But to do that, you first have to take their negativity into yourself with all the bad effects that will have on your own being. Strive instead to return good for evil. This creates an armor that keeps their difficult and unpleasant attitudes from affecting you. And your transmission of compassion and understanding will set in motion the process of changing them. Misery loves company. The hateful, frustrated, distorted, and twisted personality is out of tune with the infinite. The person resents those who are peaceful, happy, and joyous. Usually he criticizes, condemns, and vilifies those who have been good and kind to him. His attitude is this: why should they be so happy when I'm so miserable? He wants to drag them down to his own level. The old saying is still true that misery loves company. Once you understand this, you remain unmoved, calm, and dispassionate. A man named Bruce T., who attended my lectures in London, told me of his experience with this process. He had become active in a volunteer organization that was concerned with beautifying the community where he lived. Most of the volunteers were genuinely interested in working on planting gardens, sprucing up rundown areas, and repairing dilapidated buildings. One member, however, opposed every measure that anyone suggested. More than that, he constantly attacked the motives of the others. He made the meetings of the group so unpleasant that his attendance began to decline. Or that, not his attendance, that attendance began to decline. Some of the other members came to Bruce. They suggested that they band together and expel the grouch from the organization. He was about to go along with this plan when he realized that to do so would be to perpetuate the man's twisted attitudes within himself. Instead, he began to visualize the man changing into a pleasant, cooperative member of the group. Before each meeting, Bruce went into a quiet corner and repeated, "I think, speak, and act in true accord with the principle of harmony and peace within myself. All who bind themselves to the goals of our organization do so with kindness and purpose in divine order. There is no discord, no unpleasantness. Creative intelligence leads, rules, and guides us in all we do." After several weeks, so it took some time, the man who had caused so much trouble proposed a new initiative. He presented it in such an agreeable and cooperative manner that he won the approval of everyone else in the organization, including those who had wanted to kick him out. The practice of empathy in human relations. A young woman named Alice O visited me recently. She told me that she had long hated another young woman in the office where she worked. Her reason was that the other woman was prettier, happier, and more prosperous than she. The crowning blow came when the other woman became engaged to marry the CEO of the company, whom Alice had long admired. One day after the marriage took place, the woman she so disliked came into work with her daughter from a previous marriage. Alice had not known her coworker had a child or even that she had been married before. Because of a congenital problem, the woman's daughter wore a steel leg brace. Alice overheard her say to her mother, "Mommy, is this where my new daddy works too? I love this place because it is so full of people I love." My heart suddenly went out to that little girl, Alice told me. I knew how happy she must feel. I got a vision of how happy this woman was, against odds I had not even known about. All of a sudden, I felt love for her. I went into her office and wished her all the happiness in the world, and I meant it. In that moment, Alice experienced what psychologists call empathy. This is not the same thing as sympathy, in which we understand the feelings of others. It is more. It means imaginatively projecting yourself into the mental attitudes and states of the other person. When Alice projected her mental mood or the feeling of her heart into that of the other woman, it was as if she began to think through the other woman's experience. She was thinking and feeling as the other woman and also as the child, because she had also projected herself into the mind of the child. Anytime you feel tempted to injure or think ill of another, project yourself mentally into the mind of Moses and think from the standpoint of the Ten Commandments. If you're prone to be envious, jealous, or angry, project yourself into the mind of Jesus and think from that standpoint, and you'll feel the truth of the words, "Love ye one another." Appeasement never wins. Do not permit people to take advantage of you and gain their point by temper tantrums, crying jags, or other forms of emotional blackmail. These people are dictators who try to enslave you and make you do their bidding. Be firm but kind and refuse to yield. Appeasement never wins. Refuse to contribute to their delinquency, selfishness, and possessiveness. Remember, do that which is right. You are here to fulfill your ideal and remain true to the eternal verities and spiritual values of life, which are eternal. No one in all the world, or no one in all the world, the power, I would say, has the power to deflect you from your goal. Yeah, it's missing a word. your aim in life, which is to express your hidden talents to the world, to serve humanity, and reveal more and more of God's wisdom, truth, and beauty to all people in the world. Remain true to your ideal. Know definitely and absolutely that whatever contributes to your peace, happiness, and fulfillment must of necessity bless all people who walk the earth. The harmony of the part is the harmony of the whole, for the whole is in the part, and the part is in the whole. All you owe the other, as Paul says, is love, and love is the fulfilling of the law of health, happiness, and peace of mind. Profitable pointers in human relations. Your subconscious mind is a recording machine that reproduces your habitual thinking. Think good of the other, and you are actually thinking good about yourself. Let me repeat that. Think good of the other, and you are actually thinking good about yourself. A hateful or resentful thought is a mental poison. Do not think ill of another, for to do so is to think ill of yourself. You are the only thinker in your universe, and your thoughts are creative. Your mind is a creative medium. Therefore, what you think and feel, boy, we got a lot of errors here, don't we, today, about the other, you're bringing to pass in your own experience. This is the psychological meaning of the golden rule. As you would that others should think about you, think you about them in the same manner. To cheat, rob, or defraud another brings lack, loss, and limitation to yourself. Let me repeat that. To cheat, rob, or defraud another brings lack, loss, and limitation to yourself. Your subconscious mind will record your inner motivations, thoughts, and feelings. When these are negative, loss, limitation, and trouble come to you in countless ways. What you do to the other, you are doing to yourself. You repeat that. What you do to the other, you are doing to yourself. The good you do, the kindness preferred, the love and good you send forth will all come back to you multiplied in many ways. The good you do, the kindness preferred, the love and good you send forth will all come back to you multiplied in many ways. You're responsible for the way you think about the other. Remember, the other person is not responsible for the way you think about him or her. Your thoughts are reproduced. What are you thinking now about the other person? Become emotionally mature and permit other people to differ with you. They have a perfect right to disagree with you, and you have the same freedom to disagree with them. You can disagree without being disagreeable. Just as animals are able to pick up fear vibrations, many people are just as sensitive. The thoughts you believe are hidden are actually broadcast by your voice, your facial expressions, and your body language. This is true both for positive and negative thoughts. Your inner speech, representing your silent thoughts and feelings, is experienced in the reactions of others towards you. I repeat that. Your inner speech, representing your silent thoughts and feelings, is experienced in the reactions of others toward you. Wish for the other wish for the other what you wish for yourself. This is the key to harmonious human relations. Change your concept and estimate of your employer. Feel and know he or she is practicing the golden rule and the law of love, and he or she will respond accordingly. Another person cannot annoy you or irritate you except if you permit him or her to. Your thought is creative. You can bless the other person. If someone calls you an insulting name, you have the freedom to reply, God's peace fills your soul. Love is the answer to getting along with others. Love is understanding, goodwill, and respect for the divinity of the other. Have compassion and understanding for those whose negative conditioning has made them difficult and unpleasant. The divine spark is within them, just as it is within everyone. To understand all is to forgive all. Rejoice in the success, promotion, and good fortune of others. In so, you attract good fortune to yourself. Never yield to another's emotional scenes and tantrums. Appeasement never wins. Do not be a doormat. Adhere to that which is right. Stick to your ideal, knowing that the mental outlook that gives you peace, happiness, and joy is right, good, and true. What blesses you blesses all. All you owe any person in the world is love, and love is wishing for everyone what you wish for yourself: health, happiness, and all the blessings of life. How to use your subconscious mind for forgiveness. Life plays no favorites. God is life, and this life principle is flowing through you at this moment. As you read and think upon these words, God loves to express himself through you as harmony, peace, beauty, joy, and abundance. This is called the will of God, or the tendency of life. If you set up resistance in your mind to the flow of life through you, this emotional congestion will snarl up your subconscious mind and cause all kinds of negative conditions. God has nothing to do with the unhappy or chaotic conditions of the world. All these conditions are brought about by the negative and destructive thinking of our species. Therefore, it is a serious mistake to blame God for your trouble or sickness. Many persons habitually set up mental resistance to the flow of life by accusing and reproaching God for the sin, sickness, and suffering of mankind. Others cast the blame on God for their pains, aches, loss of loved ones, personal tragedies, and accidents. They are angry at God and they believe he is responsible for their misery. As long as people entertain such negative concepts about God, they will experience automatic negative reactions from their subconscious minds. What they fail to understand is that they are punishing themselves. They must see the truth, find release, and give up all condemnation, resentment, and anger against anyone or any power outside themselves. Otherwise, they cannot go forward into a healthy, happy, or creative activity. At the instant these people entertain a God of love in their minds and hearts, at the instant they believe that God is a loving Father who watches over them, cares for them, guides them, sustains, and strengthens them, this concept and belief about God, or the life principle, will be accepted by their subconscious mind, and they will find themselves blessed in countless ways. Life always forgives you. The life principle holds a bottomless fund of forgiveness for you. Isn't that awesome? Let me repeat that. The life principle holds a bottomless fund of forgiveness for you. It forgives you when you cut your finger. Subconscious intelligence within you sets about immediately to repair it. New cells build bridges over the cut. If you contract an infection from a harmful organism, life forgives you and sets about surrounding and annihilating the invader. If you burn your hand, the life principle reduces the edema and congestion and gives you new skin, tissue, and cells. Life holds no grudges against you. It is always forgiving you. Life brings you back to health, vitality, harmony, and peace. If you cooperate by thinking in harmony with nature. Okay, let me repeat that sentence. Life brings you back to health, vitality, harmony, and peace if you cooperate by thinking in harmony with nature. Negative, hurtful memories, bitterness, and ill will clutter up and impede the free flow of the life principle within you. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and stop there for today. And as we come back, hey, some more people have joined us. Awesome. Good to have you here with us. I don't see anybody here currently, maybe that has not been with us before. So I don't need to go through all that we're doing right now. You guys, this is your opportunity
Hey, Kev.
to go ahead and share. Go ahead.
I'm running to the gates. I'm running to the gates because this reading today was like it is perfect for me because I have a situation that just occurred last night, and I think everyone can relate to it. My sister is my best friend. However, she's having a difficult time with my father right now, and they are not seeing eye to eye on a situation that occurred between her and our stepmother. And it's been going on, I think, maybe 3-4 months at least now. And I have been really supportive of my sister because I do believe that she is not in the wrong in this situation, and have agreed with her every time that she's been on the phone with me and lamenting about it. So last night, apparently she had gotten together with my dad yesterday, and she's still very frustrated about it. And I said, well, with all this stuff that we're working on, I said, because it's been on my mind for a while to tell her this. I said, why don't you just forgive her and move on? Because there's nothing else you can do. You've done everything you can do. You've been positive in every way. You've confronted dad and said that there's an issue here and it needs to be addressed. He doesn't want to deal with it. Okay. So there's nothing more you can do. And so she didn't like this response from me at all, turned around and lashed out at me. And I understood why. Okay. She's frustrated at him, but she's taking it out on me. Get it? And she said, well, I don't like your flippant remarks. You and my other brother must have said something to her about it as well, because you and Ben have these flippant remarks. She said, you tell me I need to forgive and move on, but that suggests that I'm holding on to something. And I said, no, I just don't think there's anything else you can do. That's not what I'm saying at all. So here's the situation. I was mad after that and thinking about our class the whole time. And we got in a verbal fight, and we never get in a fight. And she's like, why are you yelling at me? I'm like, because you're yelling at me. And so I got off the phone with her after. I said, look, we're not on the same page. Let's talk later. We hung up. I was stewing in my apartment for at least 3 hours. And I sat down at the computer, and I was thinking about our class. I was thinking about the homework that you've given me and Proctor's lessons. And I decided to go work on the agreement for this new project that I'm working on. And I knocked it out in a couple of hours. And I was really happy after that. However, this passage today suggests that I shouldn't have even yelled at her, but I shouldn't be a doormat either. So, and I think everyone has had some kind of experience just like this, right? All the time. So, I mean, what? I don't yell back at her. I'm not going to sit there and let her yell at me and tell me that I'm being flippant and rude or whatever. Okay, I'm off my box.
One of my favorite parts of what we just read was all the forgiveness that God, the universe, and our life has for us, right? So first
Yeah.
of all, right now, just forgive yourself for the mistake you made.
What mistake did I? That's okay.
Hey,
This
hang
is
on,
where
hang on, hang on. What mistake did you make? Did you do something that made you feel bad? I'm not talking about her. Did you do something that made you feel bad?
I just didn't want to react, but I wasn't going to be a doormat either.
No, that's not what I asked you. Did you put out something
A
that,
negative vibe, yes.
yeah,
Negative energy.
right. So let me share something with all you guys, a little confession here. Last week on Tuesday, I have a group that I've been doing something with, not this same group right here. And it's not a group that I'm coaching, okay? But it's a group that I said I would go through something with, and I've been doing it for a while. And prior to getting with the group on Tuesday, I was a little frustrated. I felt frustrated. My frustration came from people asking me for help and asking me, what to do about it. So I gave some assignments. And when the group came back, I'm like, all right, who did it? And like, nobody did it. Right. So I'm feeling like I'm wasting my time. One, I should charge you some money. You might actually do something. That's one of the reasons, by the way, you hire a coach. It actually assures you do things. But but anyhow, from my standpoint, regardless of what they did or didn't do, I felt frustrated, and I put out a negative vibe towards them. I mean, at first I felt justified, but then when it was all done, I'm like, that was the crappiest meeting I've had on Zoom or whatever with any human being so far this week. And it was 4 people. I mean, it was just like, ugh, I didn't like how I felt about it. I didn't know what to do about it either. And I'm only going to see them on Tuesday, which is today again, as far as getting back together, if they even show up for that matter. But I decided, I just had this feeling. I'm like, what can I do to feel better about it? Well, I went through some material this week that Bob Proctor had given me a while back. And I'm like, this is pretty awesome stuff. And, I paid a lot to be coached by Bob Proctor. A lot of the material I receive, it's not material that everybody has access to, or it's something that somebody paid a lot of money for at some point, like they went to a seminar, workshop, or whatever. But I found this particular thing, and the thing I felt inspired to do was to go ahead and give them access to this particular um, seminar that Bob had taught. And so I went ahead and sent that out yesterday. And one of the people came back and said, thank you. The other three may not even know it's sitting in their inbox for all I know. Um, but what I'm getting at is that anything I do or say, so here's what I'm trying to tell you, Stephanie, it's not a right or wrong. Here's what's right or wrong. If we actually change our definition of right or wrong, everybody actually, this is what's coming to me right now. So if this makes sense to you, this is this write it down or repeat it kind of stuff I think is coming. What's the definition of right or wrong? Let's not go dictionary. The definition of right or wrong is what makes us feel good or bad.
Okay.
Let me repeat that. The new definition of what is right or wrong is what legitimately, right? Legitimately makes you feel good or bad. Because if it makes you feel bad, it was wrong for you. And if it made you feel good, it was good for you to, you might say, well, a drug made me feel good. No, that's not the same thing, right? I'm not telling you drugs good, bad, right, or wrong. I'm saying that doesn't mean taking drugs or whatever is what's good for you, because you're probably going to feel bad or guilty later. So if you indulge in something because you're like, well, that made me feel good, but you feel guilty later, then it actually was the wrong thing to do. Does that make sense to you guys? So I just want to understand that it's not just, oh, eating a piece of cake or whatever. If you feel good about it and you stay feeling good about what it is that you did or said, right, then that was what's right for you. If you feel bad or felt bad or continue to feel it, then that was what was wrong for you. So what I'm getting at is, as far as what happened, I have to take responsibility like I did for the vibe I put out to that group. Now, I didn't necessarily recognize it at the time. I mean, I sort of did, but it was afterwards where now I had the opportunity to compare how I felt after talking with that group versus talking with you guys or coaching the people that I coach. I'm like, there was definitely a difference in how I felt. And there was definitely a difference in what I put out to those four people, right? I allowed myself to be frustrated and I allowed myself to spill that frustration over. And I really, these people are coming to me to feel good and for help, not to have somebody whoop on them. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, if any of you are ever coached by me, that I don't ever say anything that you don't like. You may not like it, but you won't like it because your subconscious wants to fight it and I'm calling you out. That's different. I was calling them out a little bit too, but I wasn't doing it out of love. I was doing it out of frustration. If I was doing it out of love and care for them, it would have come across differently. And I know the vibe would have been different. And even the way I felt when I was done, I would have felt good about it because I know I would have done it out of love. But I didn't do it out of love. I did it out of frustration. And I was thinking about me. You guys are wasting I didn't say this, but you're wasting my time and you don't respect what I'm sharing with you. And I gave you something valuable to go through and gave you things to do and you didn't go do them. What the heck am I helping you for? Right. So for me, I harmed myself. So I chose one, I stayed with it for a little bit, but I'm like, I want to do something to hopefully make this better for them. Now, what they do with what I gave them, that's up to them. But the apologies out there, hopefully they'll show up tonight and I can apologize again in case they didn't see what I sent to them. But I just want to share with you again, why don't we take a new definition of what is, good or bad, right or wrong? And why don't we say, well, if I do this thing or say this thing or think this thing, it starts actually with the thinking, then usually with saying something, and then usually with doing something, usually goes in that order anyway. But if I'm thinking something, saying something, or doing something that I feel crappy about when I'm done with that interaction, then for me, maybe not for, right? For me, that was wrong. That was bad because it took me off of what I wanted. The faster I recognize that and the faster I go in the positive vibration that I can, the better. Now you could go back, Stephanie, and say, hey, look, I apologize for snapping back at you. You could even use the word, I just didn't feel, like I wanted to take that, but I understand your frustration and, I've been talking and I've been on your side And I'm not judging you. What I was trying to do is be helpful. Whatever it is truly in your heart because you love your sister and you were trying to help her. But what I would do is I'd ask God in the universe, is there anything I could do that would make a difference and create a positive vibration between us that I should do today? And if there's nothing that pops up for today, don't do anything about it. It
I
took me.
already did, and I thought to myself that I was going to send this PDF to her,
Uh-huh.
but I also thought it might be taken as passive aggressive. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, again, let God in the universe, not your logic, decide that. But for now, just put out good thoughts. Write a letter to her, maybe one you never even send to her, that is one that expresses how you feel, and be sure to express love and everything else. You can write it without sending it.
Yeah, I guess my whole point was that um, I understand I probably shouldn't have reacted. However, I liked the part that he said, "Don't be a doormat."
Uh-huh.
And
And that
many
was the
times,
first thing I know you did. And the first thing I thought, as soon as he said that, some of us have I'm not saying it's you, Stephanie, okay? Some of us have personalities that the whole rest of what was just said, our number one focus was on, yeah, I'm not going to be a doormat. And we skip all the other stuff that was just shared with us, right? Does your sister abuse you constantly?
no, but she tends to use me to vent from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You you know when and this probably was one of those doormat situations, right? But you probably just should have said, you know what, it's all good. Let's talk later. I've got something I just remembered I have to go do.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, just stop the conversation before it can go that direction, or if it's starting that way. So you're very welcome, Stephanie. Other comments or questions? And it doesn't have to be strictly about what we read today.
Well, I was just going to say I have three sisters that I am separate from emotionally because I have to have boundaries against them. They're very negative and they hold grudges. And the oldest one holds grudges against my father. And anyway, and then the second oldest one calls me up and wants to draw me in to come rescue her. And I don't talk to they don't otherwise they don't talk to me. They don't talk to me and I can't talk to them. And really right now I'm not looking to heal anything because it's just too poison.
Yeah.
I know people say toxic is just downright poison to be with them. They're just the most negative people I've ever seen in my life or ever had to be with since we all grew up. And I'm taking a different path and joining this course. And so anyway, but I understand what Stephanie is talking about, with I had a stepmother too, and they were very poisoned about her. And I wasn't. And I lived with my dad and stepmother. It was a place to live after I graduated and was beginning nurse practitioner. And so I understand that situation that they're against the new woman, the other woman kind of
Yeah.
thing. Anyway, I'm probably babbling.
No,
I
that's
mean,
okay.
I mean, I apologize a lot too, Kevin. I got to get rid of that kind of broken record in my insecurities.
Good for you being aware of it.
Yes.
Good for being aware that that's what you're doing, even if it comes out, that awareness of, okay, you know what, that's very good. That's very good.
Okay, good.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, with relatives and people like that, there are people I stay away from in my family. Multiple. Okay. And there's others that it's definitely the same.
Okay.
So
Can I say something?
Yeah, whoever is wanting to.
Okay, it's me, it's Karen.
Okay.
Well, I'll finish up a little bit on what they were going to say, which I found in my own experience that when I say something that I feel bad about afterwards and it, stays with me forever, I have learned the hard way that I'd rather not, what is that? Win the battle, but lose the war. I would rather not say what I feel like I got to say, okay? And then feel rotten for days afterwards. And my mother always said, whatever you haven't said, dumb, she had the dumbest statement. Whatever you haven't said, you can always say, which of course is obvious, all right? But what she's really saying is, instead of saying it, think about it some more, because you probably shouldn't say it at all, okay? If you're questioning it, you probably shouldn't say it at all, okay? That's my thing. But now my other thing is a funny thing. All right. I went on the Coach website today and I saw this case for an XR, which I rarely see for an XR iPhone because they're kind of not the new thing. And they had this really cute one on. And I kept going back and it kept saying there weren't any, was being held in somebody else's card or however they refer to it. Right. So I kept going back, same thing. Right. I'm like, gosh, I'm not going to get this. And I started imagining myself having it on my phone because I really wanted it. It had a little menu on it. It was so cute. All right. So then I see there's something in my cart. And I'm like, how can there be something in my cart? Because it won't let you put it in your cart when it's being held by somebody else. Right. I go to my cart and guess what? There it was. I went,
That's awesome.
it happened. It's a little thing, but it was kind of cool.
Totally.
So
Cool.
I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks again for everything.
Well, you're
This
welcome.
is just what I needed at just the right time. Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Have a good one. I'm at the doctor's office, so I have to
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Anybody else have anything that they want to share or a question they want to ask?
Well, I was wondering, yesterday, someone talked about the 300,
List?
something about, yes. And
Okay.
so I'm sure I'm trying to catch up with.
Yeah,
with y'all.
that's fine. So you got something to write with there?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay,
Pen
cool.
and paper here.
Write down Steve Harvey's 300 list.
Okay.
What you'll go ahead and do is go to YouTube. Don't just Google it. You can, but go to YouTube and
YouTube, yeah.
search YouTube. And that's not exactly what it's going to be called, but it's going to likely be the first thing that pops up. Okay.
Okay.
And it's a challenge that he took on that was given to him that he's passing along to others,
Okay.
right? To write down things that they want to be, do, or have.
300?
I know. See that
Wow.
look on your face? And by the way, it's okay if you start working on
A
it.
nurse practitioner who is altruistic, wanting 300 things.
I
Gee
know.
whiz.
It's new programming, isn't
You're
it?
killing me, man. You're killing me. Okay, I got to reprogram my mind.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's going to take a while.
So here's what, and I didn't say this to everybody when I did recommend that. For those of you that have worked on that or been working on it, some of you finished. I would watch that video. So let's say you start on
Okay.
50, 60, 70, whatever the number is you get to, you will probably not come up with 300 to start with. Okay. I mean, if you do, awesome. Okay. But you very likely won't because of our programming. What I recommend that everybody does till they get it done is watch that video every day and write something, at least one down. Okay. But watch that video every day till you're done because it will stick it in your mind. You'll get it done faster than if you watch it once and you had a piece of paper sitting around and you go look at it every 4 or 5 days. You commit yourself to watching the video every single day until you've got your list done. That's my recommendation.
I'm sorry, yes.
That's okay.
It's not a long video, by the way.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble. What?
Is there any changes on the
And-
Oh, no,
paperwork?
this is all fine.
See if I can.
And then this insurance,
Meet
can
Karen
okay
here.
for your primary, do you know?
I got it. Okay. She's busy with the doctor or whatever. All right. Any other questions or comments before we go?
Yeah, I
No,
actually like, oh, I'm sorry. Someone
No,
else.
go ahead. We'll take Mikkel and then we'll take Takira.
Yeah, like the exercise a lot. I had actually been in his presence. My daughter is a spokesperson for Disney and he is involved in Disney Dreamers Academy. And so we've played golf with him a couple of times, but challenging exercise. But I never participated until I joined this group. Got close to the 200 mark, but like you said, it's an exercise.
It
Because
is.
started to be listed, and I said, no, I want something different. And I tried to think of different subjects and areas, and yeah, it's a great exercise.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it was Takira.
Hi, Kevin. Actually, I wasn't gonna speak, but my hair's still not done, so don't judge me. I'm still in chill mode.
Nobody's going to judge you for your hair if you don't judge me for mine. Come on.
Thank God. Well, I'm reading the book, I'm Rich Beyond My Wildest Dream.
Okay.
I'm like halfway through already, and it's so good. And it talks about being in the detachment stage. So like writing everything you want, like the vehicle you want, the color, and the home you want, the mate you want. And then it has this like paragraph about divine intervention, divine timing, so that it's all protected. The one that you have is not just like a random one. And I love that. But when I went to take a nap today, I dreamt about everything that I wanted in my dream. I had my daycare location. I was hiring people. The man was there. It was my ex though from college, who I'm like, not him. But in the dream, it was nice. I mean, I don't like him, but in the dream, it was good to have him supporting me at my location. But with the Mercedes, it was a female from high school driving my car. So I'm like, why am I seeing this through their eyes? I want it. And I want it like right now, of course. But like, is this saying that I'm close? Or
So,
I don't know.
I would say, first of all, I'm not Joseph from the Bible where I interpret dreams. Okay, so let me first start there. However, here's what my opinion is on what you said. Yeah, you're successful. You're thinking about what you want, so that's playing part of the dreams and stuff you're having. You got all, and you have other inputs too, and so people are showing up doing things.
Yeah.
I would. Here's how I would look at it, since you have a choice. The law of polarity, right? There's a good or a bad. I would take your dream and go, everything about it that's good, the rest leave it alone. Who cares if you're driving the car? The fact that my car was in there is a sign to me that I'm closer to getting my car. The fact that daycare was, forget about the guy. Of course, he was being supported, and that's a good thing. Hey, people supporting me, that's good, right? Take whatever it is, and don't worry about she's driving it, because that doesn't, even if she is, doesn't mean you can't, right? There's enough Mercedes on the planet that I think you'll be fine finding one that you love. You're not buying the one-off thing that is only one produced. And even if you were, and you really truly wanted it, ultimately somebody who produced it would produce another for you. So don't worry about it.
Right. It said in the book too that it's yours.
Yeah.
That you have to believe that what you want is seeking you as well, not just you wanting it. So
Yeah,
I really like that. Now, do I gotta call this man? Is the universe telling me to call him or check on him, or like
The man?
the guy? Is it the universe telling me to call him? Yeah, the man.
You know what? What do you think? That's for how do you feel about it? Don't force meaning to things either, right? Don't try.
I do that.
Yeah, like, okay, I want to set this one up. So, because here's what we do. We don't really give meaning. We create stories instead. There's a difference. God knows the meaning. We create the story. That's why we have so much crap going on, is because we already have made up our mind what this means before we even let it unfold, because we already made up this story about it. And so we think about this person. I'm like, hey, honey, let's quit talking about that. Because we take this person that smiled at us and we turn it into this whole, well, did they smile at me because they like me, or did they smile at me because they laughing at me? You know what I mean? Just cut it out.
I think that way all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Take the good and enjoy it, and you'll sleep again, have a dream again. We all will.
I have very vivid dreams, Kevin. They're so clear, and I remember them so clearly. It's really weird, but it is a good thing, I guess.
Well, yeah,
So,
it's a gift. It's a gift.
I just wish the gift would come like right now.
I know, and that you got to cut that. That's your thing. What Once you let it go, it's gonna open up instead of trying
But
to
then,
force it.
but then I don't want to make you upset and be miserable because I'm not taking your advice, which is to chill, chill, chill. And I'm tired of seeing that word, Kevin. Even on in my cupboard, there's some chili powder, and all I could see was chill. And I'm like, Kevin.
How about, does relax work a little better?
Yeah, really.
Relax,
All
and have,
right, I'll
relax,
put-
have fun.
All right.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll do my hair later on.
don't take life so seriously.
Okay. Thanks, Lillian. Go ahead and relax. Thank you, Kevin. You're awesome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I have found the secret to the fountain of youth.
You have? All right.
I could tell you how to take 50 years off of your life in a matter of somebody saying boo to me.
Boo.
Getting in a spat with my sister, it immediately
Oh, take
sends us
50 years,
back,
get you older, or takes it?
takes it off of
See, I
us.
was thinking positive. I was
We-
like, I want to be 2 again. Because I'm 52. I want
We go immediately back to 15 and 17. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I have learned to keep my mouth shut. I don't, but I know when to start keeping it shut because it's doing me no good. And then, Stephanie, this is what I do. I really love my sister, and she has done some really special things that have given me those special moments in my growing up. Those special moments that are like a fantasy in your mind. You have those. I just bring all that back, and I relive them. I remember that why she did those things. Like I'll tell you an example. One Christmas in Ithaca, New York, she actually got up in the middle of the night. We were not going to celebrate Christmas. She got up in the middle of the night and she went in the back of the house. There's woods. She went in the woods with a little steak knife or butter knife, and she cut down a tree and set it up. And we got up and we had a Christmas tree. She cut it
Beautiful.
down. She did that to give us a Christmas. That's why she did it. And she spent her babysitting money on little toys and stuff. I even remember the toy that she gave to me. I wish I had kept it, but I didn't. But special times like that help you get through these tensions that we tend to have with one another at the same time. It's like it's two sides of the same coin, You just have to remember how much you love one another, that you would give everything to that person if something were to happen to them. And I just really hold on to that. I have friends I feel that way for. It's easier with our friends because we don't necessarily have that childhood with our friends. Well, some people do, but I don't. But so I just remind myself, if I could feel that way about my friends, why on earth don't I work to have that same feeling with the person I grew up with? They deserve it too.
Thank you.
By the way, I'm from Sunny Atlas. So you're from Ithaca?
I lived in Ithaca, yeah. Beautiful,
where-
beautiful Ithaca.
Do you know where Skinny Atlas is?
No.
Oh, okay, it's not far.
Oh, okay. So Ithaca is really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. My dad used to have a restaurant there.
Yeah. But anyway, that's how I deal with that. And we have our tensions quite a bit. You know what? Somebody's knocking. I need to go.
Okay. And I actually do too, because I've got a call to get on in a few minutes. So I totally appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate being with you every Monday through Friday. And thanks for giving me the opportunity to share. And I appreciate you guys sharing too.
Thanks, Kevin. Good luck with your group tonight or today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Kevin. You have a good one.
Blessings.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Kevin.
everybody.
Thank you so
Nice seeing you
much.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
God
God bless.
Bye.